right? And you can sort of see this from the side here, kind of having that proportion and ratio. And if you want, you can sort of do an orthographic style breakdown of the front view based on this. So if you just draw a line this way, that's the top of the head. You can draw a line from here, that's the corner of the mouth. Bottom of the nose, corner of the, did I say corner of the mouth here? I meant corner of the eye. Corner of the mouth here, and then the chin. And so if we use that as a guide for the ratio, let's go ahead and put that for the eyebrow and mix it in with the earlier lesson about the heart. So let's just see what happens if we make a heart in here. But instead of making the heart feel even, I'm going to make sure I turn here, because that's where the side S shape turns to the big bowl. And in fact, the S shape here is pretty much the side view of the heart, like that. So, well, you can imagine more symmetrical drawing there. But let's kind of continue with this. We know that the heart is going to turn over here. And then we can kind of try to be symmetrical with it. You could just flip it over as a layer, but I like roughing things in. And from there, we can kind of figure out the bottom of the eye, the top of the eye, and we have the corner of the eye here. Let's go ahead and fit that within the circle area so it's not touching the edge. And this is certainly far closer to stylized or anime styles. We can kind of figure out where the bottom of the nose is. Just put a little diamond there. And these little marks for the nostrils. And then the mouth as well. And for the mouth, it's going to fit within here. And we can get the other eye here. And then we can fill in all this stuff as well. It's kind of tricky with the whole stylized thing. Yeah, let me just kind of explain something in a moment here. So the negative space on this side, on the outside part of the heart, is actually kind of tricky, but if you can kind of see it as a sort of echo of a curve here, so you can kind of fit a small circle in there on this side, and then a bigger circle in there. And imagine if you have these two circles and the line is trying to dodge in between them, you can kind of do something like that. Now, that's definitely an exaggeration, but that's sort of what I'm keeping in mind, because this is going to represent the chin. I'm sorry, not the chin, the cheek. All right, so you'll end up with, let me just actually ghost it. You'll end up with a shape sort of like this. It's going to avoid that circle and avoid this circle, and maybe even skim across it a little bit. Now if we remove that, now we have the sort of cheek shape. And then you could also imagine that big circle slightly lower, like that. Right, and then if you just take away the underlying shapes, let's get rid of the heart, let's get rid of these lines. I'm just going to move the eyes slightly further apart. You can even make them bigger if you so choose. Let's get the top of the head, it's about right here. Let's draw those bangs in. You can make this more narrow if you like. Get those ears in. And suddenly you have a base for that stylized kind of popular look that you might see on Instagram. Not really my thing, but I figured I'd show you how to get there. Whether or not this is super accurate, it's at least one way to look at it and practice to kind of measure these ratios. Cool. Well, hope that was insightful. I'm considering this as a sort of bonus lecture on looking for these shapes, because they're sort of things that I've been seeing over a long period of time when I study faces. So carry on.